Hey everybody, what is going on? I am Jereme Lukoski. This is my wife Selwa, and if you haven't been here before, welcome. This is 24/6, and this is our sip and chat segment. And and so getting right into it, if you haven't noticed, we're wearing the same shirts as our last two episodes, because we are batch recording. We don't want another 11 months to pass and go by before providing you people with
some awesome content.
With some awesome content and our health journey. So where we left off on the last video was
we were talking about food allergies.
Food allergy, IgG, stool test, all that stuff.
So if you didn't watch the last video, you may want to go back and watch that before continuing on.
Absolutely. And so do you want to take this one?
Sure.
You had yours. You were looking into having that stuff done.
Yeah. So in the last video, we talked about how we went to an event at our chiropractor's office and we learned about food allergies testing, and I decided to get that done because I had a rash on my hands that had not gone away in, I think, over a year. And my chiropractor had mentioned how he was able to cure basically heal his, are we allowed to say here? This is YouTube. Censorship.
Probably not. To treat.
This video is already gonna get banned. Trigger words. Anyway, so my chiropractor was talking about how he was able to
just don't say election fraud.
able to heal his psoriasis through nutrition and food allergies testing and just cutting out the foods that were causing inflammation in his diet. So I decided to get tested first. Jereme did not get tested at that time, and so first I got a stool test. The results of that came back and revealed that my body was not breaking down foods, was not properly digesting foods, and one of the things that contributes to that is stress. And so if you have a high stress lifestyle
or
that goes along with stress. I do.
So big important thing, take 20 minutes, sit down at a table.
Away from your computer, away from your device, and eat lunch.
And focus on your food.
I remember when I worked in corporate America.
It affects your digestion. It's crazy, yeah.
I remember when I worked in corporate America, almost everybody would sit at their computer and eat, basically work through lunch. So it's a habit that I picked up there and just never completely stopped. And
it's crazy.
Even now that
it's a paid break.
Even now that we own our own business, I'm so busy that I'm eating while I'm working, and that's apparently not healthy for you. So not only is what you eat important, but how you eat it is important. Taking time to slowly chew your food and swallow your food and allow your body to digest your food is very important. It plays a huge role in your health that most people don't even realize.
And I would say other nations have that down, like the French and Spanish. They
3-hour lunch breaks with their wine.
Absolutely. They got it figured out on that note. But so you did that. You found out that you were not digesting your food.
Yeah, and I had some inflammation. I had some inflammation in my gut and some yeast
bacteria
overgrowth.
Or no? Did you have some bacteria?
I don't think bacteria. I think it was just yeast overgrowth.
Yeast.
Yeah. And my chiropractor mentioned that was likely the cause of the rash. And so reducing stress by, taking some adaptogen supplements, as well as taking the time to eat away from my desk and allow my body to digest food would help with that, along with cutting out the inflammatory foods that I was, quote unquote, allergic to.
Which she learned to after she did the IgG.
Yes. So my IgG food allergies test came back with 19 different foods that I could not eat. I don't have my card with me, but just off the top of my head, some of those included tomatoes, kale, eggs, brewer's yeast, baker's yeast, wheat, wheat was huge because we had just bought a grain mill and stocked up our coat closet / pantry with buckets and buckets of wheat berries. And so
when it comes to food storage, people like to think canned goods, but
yeah, we stocked up on wheat. And so
Joseph, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, he did. Well, he was really just listening to God.
That's true. Which is why he knew what he was doing.
Exactly. So I was kind of freaking out a little bit because I was like, what am I going to do? You know, we're going to have to go back to this low carb, low sugar, grain-free diet. I'm going to have to stock up on almond flour and coconut flour now. And so that's what I did. I bought a bunch of grain-free flours and started looking into recipes for grain-free baking.
Which was, I mean, it was not the ideal thing, but at least we had, you knew what to do because you had done it before.
Yeah.
And we did it for 3 years.
We did it before because of his candida.
Of me, yeah.
So, I did start avoiding the allergy foods. Eggs was tough, man. Eggs was really tough.
Like, what do you have for breakfast?
I even asked her. And because I bake so much, flax seeds and chia seeds were also on my list of inflammatory foods. And those are 2 big egg substitutes in baking. Right. So I couldn't substitute flax seeds for eggs anymore. I couldn't substitute chia seeds. Like, I had to cut out a whole bunch of stuff, and it was really stressful. Like, the stress from that was almost worse, I think, than eating the actual foods. Right. Like, probably worse for my health. So I did start avoiding the allergy foods mostly. Not, I wasn't perfect with it, but I did the best I could, which is what I was told.
And you started, do the best you can. And you started feeling better.
And I started feeling better, and the rash did actually start to go away. I was also taking a yeast supplement too. So I think that helped.
Like a yeast cleanse?
Yeah, like a yeast cleanse to help get rid of the yeast in my gut. So then you decided to get tested as well. Mm-hmm. Because I guess you saw that it helped me feel better.
And I got both done. I got the stool and the IgG, and the stool...
IgG is food allergies, just for anybody watching.
Yeah, the food allergy
doesn't know that. Yeah.
Test. And so... the stool test revealed that I still had some yeast. It wasn't as much, which I kind of already knew that I probably still had some yeast overgrowth, but I knew that before I did my candida diet and cleanse that it was much, much higher. I'm trying to think. I know that I had some inflammation, and I think my digestion was fine. I didn't learn anything about that. But then the food allergy test,
the real kicker,
that revealed that I had 29 food allergies. And
19 plus 29.
Yes.
Well, some of them
overlapped. Like, we both couldn't do eggs.
We both couldn't do wheat.
Brewer's yeast.
No yeast.
Or wheat. And then I could still do tomatoes, though, but I couldn't do kale.
Flax seeds. Flax seeds was
a big one for me. The way they do it is you're either a 1 or a 4 on the scale. It's on a
range of 1 to 4.
And if it's a 4, that means your body has more of a reaction to it. 1, you have a slight reaction, but still a reaction. And then 4 is like, it's a more severe reaction to it. So, flax was a 4. Some other things I forget. But so here's the kicker. She couldn't do wheat, but she could do the substitutes.
Coconut flour, almond flour.
I could not do almond, like pretty much no nuts. Mm-hmm. I had nut allergy.
No nuts, no coconut, no coffee.
No coconut, no coffee. That was again. Yeah, and so the thing too about that was I was putting coconut oil in my coffee.
And drinking it every day on an empty stomach.
And it was pretty much on an empty, because I was intermittent fasting, so I wasn't really eating breakfast a lot of the times. I would skip breakfast and just wait till lunch to eat. So
which is not good.
No, not good.
We'll talk more about that later.
We'll get into that. But right off the bat, I was starting my days off horribly. And so it made sense just with the things that I was experiencing. So, but it was hard to coordinate and added more stress to her because it's like,
how am I
crap,
supposed to feed everyone?
Yeah, what do we eat now?
I can't eat bread, but he can't eat any of the bread alternatives because he can't do coconut oil, coconut flour, almond butter, flax seeds. I mean, it was pretty much like...
Pretty much reduced to animal protein, but not eggs, but meat and...
Except duck eggs.
Vegetables.
I could do duck eggs.
No, you did duck eggs, but you...
Yeah.
She could do duck eggs, which she did... But she had a reaction.
I had an actual, vomiting reaction to duck eggs.
Right, yeah. To the point where we thought it was...
I thought I had food poisoning.
Yeah, food poisoning. I did have duck eggs, didn't have a reaction.
So you didn't like them very much?
Yeah, they're a little bit more rubbery in texture, so I wasn't a huge fan of those, yeah. But, and so then it's like, okay, well, now... we're stressed because we don't know what to eat. And that's not good either, right? You don't want to stress out about it to the point where it's affecting your health even more so. But we did try our best to avoid the foods that we were, allergic to. And with that came some other things, like I was taking Golden Seal, Albizia, is that the name of it, right?
Mm-hmm. You had some different herbal
Oregon grape
supplements that
right, and then I was taking some stuff to help with digestion and everything, and so you do that in conjunction with avoiding the foods that you have a reaction to, and the whole thing is to heal your gut.
Yeah.
Right.
So really, we were only supposed to do the food allergy avoidance for about a year, and then after that, you retest, and hopefully you've cut out. Hopefully, your list of allergies is not as nearly as long as it was the first time.
But you can still pick up some new ones.
But you can pick up some new ones, and so I started thinking about that, and I was like, we could do this for a year and essentially come out on the other side with even more.
Right.
Or just different ones that we didn't have before.
Well,
and so it didn't make sense to me. I was just like, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be something we can do to where we don't have to restrict ourselves, and cut out all of these foods that are supposed to be natural. God created these things. We should be able to eat them and not have issues without fear.
Without fear,
And so that's the thing. Thinking about that and fear and how that plays a role kind of led us to the next step in the journey, which is really more spiritual. So that was when a friend shared another video.
He knew that we had got allergy tests and that she had 19 and I had 29. And so his wife had been dealing with food allergies herself and came across, his name is Dr. Henry Wright, and he is I would say expert in
He's an author and a speaker, and
he speaks about the spiritual root of diseases and illness, and that includes food allergies.
Yeah, he's written a book called A More Excellent Way to Be in Health. Mm-hmm. His ministry, I think it's called Be in Health Ministries. I'll link that book below this video as well in case you're interested in checking that out. I know some people are probably already familiar with it, but it basically talks about the spiritual root of disease and how fear is the spiritual root of disease. We all have a fear problem, and that's what fear and stress is really what leads to the problems that we have. And
some other things too, some self-loathing and just unrepentance sin, and essentially. It basically comes down to sin. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he shared those videos with us, which we will put. Did you say we're posting down below?
I'll post a link to the videos down below this video as well. They're on YouTube, so you can check them out. I think it's like a 3-part teaching about overcoming allergies.
And that was right before we went on our annual trip to Florida. We call it our Lukoski Blissmas trip to get. We take it every December. We go down to Florida and just to get away from the
Christmas madness.
The Christmas madness, but. He shared those videos, and it was great. We were like, we have something to watch and listen to on our way down to Florida. So that is going to be our next discussion, is our trip to Florida, which was great. But man, it was wild, and it definitely had a huge impact on where Yah was taking us with our health journey and overcoming the things that we've been dealing with. So,
So stay tuned for the next video. We're going to be talking about the spiritual roots of disease and fear, and just where everything that we went through when we were in Florida. We were there for about 2 weeks, and it was a pretty wild experience. Some of the discoveries that we made just through listening to Dr. Wright's teachings, and just through the things that we went through while we were there. We'll talk about that.
You're gonna wanna stay tuned. We got some interesting things, such as throwing up, hives, sickness. Good times though. It was good times. It was
It really was. It was a great experience.
Yeah. Looking back on it,
no regrets.
No regrets.
Name that movie. All right, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks again for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified of the next episode and any new episodes that we release.
Catch you on the next one.